Hello, hello. Welcome to my live, you guys. Let me get myself all set up here. We got a couple minutes still before. I'm trying to do this on my desk because for some reason, when I do this in the place that I normally shoot my videos, it goes off. Like I can't always get a signal, and I haven't figured out if that's a YouTube thing or if that's a me thing or what. So anyway, I thought that I would try it over here on my desk. We got 3 minutes until we go live. If you are watching this on playback, welcome. I am so glad that you are here, and we'll get started in about 3 minutes. I'm a little bit early, so I know that. I guess I can talk about other things. One thing I can talk about that I didn't know was last week I did a comparison between Catherine Pooler ink and Distress Oxide, and it came up in conversation about what's the differences between a pigmented ink and a dye ink. And someone put a resource out that Jennifer McGuire did a video. It's an amazing resource. I watched the video. Go back to that and go check her video out because she does a pretty good job. It's quick, concise, to the point on what that is, what the difference is. Excuse me, I have a cold. I have to cough. I'm so sorry. So anyway, a pigment basically sits on top of your paper and a dye actually dyes your paper. So that's the difference. And the pigment is a thicker color, so you always have to heat set it, a pigment, in order to get it to dry completely. It's really good for embossing. That's why pigments work so well with embossing, is because it sits on top of the paper. It doesn't soak in like a dye. So I found that to be extremely beneficial. The other thing that I recently have gotten are these Distress Oxide Mists. I'm going to be playing with these on my channel. I did a Instagram live recently with these, and everybody really liked it, and I thought I recorded it on my phone and I didn't, so I have to do another one and I'll upload it here. But these things are awesome, and I hate mists, and these kind of changed my mind. And if you know me at all, you know I've been kind of, Oxide is not my favorite. I prefer the Distress ink. But I figured out why, and it's just so funny. I love these though. Like, I love these, and there's a way that I can do it that does it, that I like, that it's not chalky. I don't like that chalky look. So that's just me though. All right, let's go ahead and get started because it is 7 o'clock, and tonight we are going to turn an ATC card into a card for those of you that do not do ATCs. Let me go ahead and show you really quick what an ATC is for those of you that do not know. Basically, an ATC is something called an artistic trading card. It is the same size as a baseball card. And here are some I have. Ooh, bad glare, that I've made, I've gotten. Here, I'll pull some out so you don't have to deal with the glare. And basically what you do is you take a 2.5 by 3.5 sheet of paper and you create art on it. So it's like on a really small canvas. And then you can go ahead and trade it with other crafters. So those are some of the ones that I have done. Let me see if I can't show you some of the ones that I have received that I've traded for, because they're pretty. And I like to do them also on the back of just regular paper. I think that that's super fun. These might be all mine that are up for trade. Yeah, I think these are all mine that are up for trade. But anyway, here's one that I did actually on a baseball card. So if you look and then you turn it over, that's the back side. Now normally you're going to want to put your information on the back so that people know where to find you. So this was one that I did, and then this is the back that has all of my information. And at the time, my blog was Scrappy Cafe, but that's no longer good. So I've had this one in my stash for some time. So it's just a great way to practice art. It's something that you can do rather quickly. And then once you are done With it, you can store easily in baseball sleeves, in the 3-ring binder, and so on and so forth. Some people enjoy them, some people don't. They think they're a waste of time. I totally get it. So today we're going to make an ATC card, and then I'm going to show you how to put it on a card front if that's your jam. That's what we're going to do. To start this card off, I am going to be using the Ink Road Stamps set. This one is, dun dun dun, there should always be a little, I don't know, it's not we can't say it's the Friends one, I'm sure. I can't find the title. Oh no. If you go over though, you'll be able to find it. The number on it is Ink RO23. I'm sorry that I'm coughing tonight, you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with our distress inks. That's what I'm going to start with tonight. I'm going to be using Picked Raspberry and Blueprint Sketch, and the reason is because the colors that I've chosen later on down the line for this. Now, normally you cannot mix a cool with a warm, but these two colors are going to work because when you mix this with this, you should get purple, which should be okay. That should be a common color. So I'm just going to go ahead and start and just blend this out like so. Blend it on through. And I'm just going to start up in that corner and blend it on down. And then let me go ahead and do that with the Blueprint Sketch. When you're working with Distress Oxides, you don't have to really concern yourself with your color family, like being respectful, but with the Distress inks like these, since this is a water-based product, it's always going to move with water. You always want to make sure that you respect your color families. Otherwise, you're going to get mud. So if I were to throw some yellow or green on this, it would not be a good thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting over. You guys, I have been sick. I haven't been sick in probably a decade. Literally, I'm not even kidding you. I have celiac disease, so I've always had that. But I have decided to lose some weight and get in shape 5 weeks ago. And I've been working out. And I kid you not, in the last 4 weeks, I've been sick twice. And it's like the first time I got sick, it was horrible. I could barely do anything, but I still lost 6 pounds that week, only because I was sick, not because I did it any other way besides I just couldn't eat or drink. I was incredibly dehydrated. All right, so I'm going to pound some water onto this and just kind of get that to move a little. Then I'm going to pick that up with my paper towel, just a tad. Remember, again, we're working on an ATC right now. And I really like that look. I like that distress look. Super pretty, right? All right. So from here, we're going to go ahead and just hit it with the heat gun real quick. Okay. And I want to take and do some stamping on it. So I'm going to take my little foam pad. You can use like a foam pad that you get from the Kids Craft Center. That totally works. I'm going to just put my powder over it to make sure there's no moisture on it, because I am going to emboss this next image that we're going to do. And so all over this, I want to add this little frame and this coffee cup. So I'm just going to pile these on up on my little stamp pad. And I'm going to be using metallic ink for this. This is Eyes Ink by Aladdin. So, I'm sorry. Pardon me for coughing again. I'm going to be embossing it, so I want to make sure I have my little tray ready to go. And this is a pigment ink, which means it's going to sit on top of this, not going to soak in. So I have a little bit more time to play with it. And I'm just going to do some random patterns all over the place, make it a little bit crazy so that some of the teacups are right side up, some of them are upside down. No rhyme, no reason, just a little bit crazy. Like so. All right, that looks pretty good. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and use my Brutus Monroe Gilded Embossing Powder. This is kind of my favorite embossing powder. There's no wax in it, and it's super fine. So I really, really like it. And it's okay to totally cover your project like that, your card, because you're just going to tap the excess off back into your jar. Now I am going to use a tweezer to go ahead and hold that as I heat set it. Otherwise it's going to blow all over the place, and if I try to hold it with my fingers, I'm not so good and I usually burn myself. So watch the magic happen if you haven't seen embossing before. If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. It's going to start to shine. My gun has to warm up. There we go. Okay, so it's embossed, and now from here I want to go ahead and I'm going to actually ink the edges and emboss those as well. So I'm just going to push my paper, my card, down into the side of the edges and emboss. Now, when I heat set it this time, I am going to try not to burn myself because it's just easier to hold it. And then I'm just going to dip it right on into that powder that we laid out for the front. Move that off to the side. And let's get that embossed as well. Now, if worst comes to worst, my mat is 450 degree. It can handle up to that, so I am going to put it down and just hold it because it was getting a little hot. All right. So from here, I went ahead and stamped the couch, the ever so famous couch, and I embossed it as well. And we're going to put that right in the center as a pop on pop dots. And the pop dots that I like to use are the thin 3D foam squares, or any of them by Scrapbook Adhesive, really. These are wonderful. The backs come off nicely. You guys have seen me use the cheap ones from Hobby Lobby for $2 a pack, and they're kind of hard to get the backs off of, but these are so easy to get the backs off of, and really you only needed one for that, but no effort at all to get that off, and they stay forever. This is probably my favorite product that, I also like their foam things for using foil on, so there's two favorite products by them. All right. So I'm just going to slap that down in the middle, and you could put a sentiment on this, I'll be there for you would be super cute, but we're going to turn this into a card because a lot of people are like, you know what, yeah, ATs are cute, but they're a waste of my time. I'm a card maker. What am I supposed to do with them? So we're going to go ahead and just turn this into a card. And so what you're going to need is you're going to need an A2 card size, which is 4.5 by, 4.25 inches by 5.5. And then we are going to need some pattern paper, and you can use anything in your stash to make it work. I'm going to be using these 2 sheets of pattern paper. But to amp it up a little bit, I want to go ahead and do a sentiment on this. So, and it's also going to help pull in that gold. So I'm going to take I'll Be There For You, because that's the iconic sentiment for friendship. I feel a whole lot better than I sound, you guys. I really felt like crap all week, so this is doing better. All right, so I just want to make sure that I can line that up. And I'm going to take that same pigment and I'm just going to go on this over and over again. And I'm not going to always start in the same spot. I'm just going to do a couple lines of this. And you know it's pigment, so that means it's wet. It's just sitting on top of that paper. So I need to be a little bit careful as I go back and forth on this. And I don't care that I'm going off the page. I like it when it goes off the page. I think it looks cooler. All right. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and pop this on in. And you can even take that leftover embossing powder and just run it down like that. There we go. And let's go ahead and heat set this. And then we're going to do something kind of special to the edges on this as well. I'm just going to hold it down again. All right, so from here, to pull it all together, and I don't like how there's so much space on the top up there, so I'm going to kind of camouflage that by embossing the edges as well. And that's going to pull the smaller piece in with this bigger piece, and it's just going to kind of make it all go together. And I'm going to be a little bit more generous on the top here with this, because I really want that to camouflage not getting my stamp up high enough. So again, it's just dipping. And there you go. And this time I can use my tweezers. I much prefer my tweezers because I can get around the back if I need to. And I'm only going to do the top, and I'm only going to do the bottom here, because I'm going to do something right there to help kind of pull it all in. So just on the bottom of this pattern paper, And this pattern paper was literally in my Stashy's trash pile. That's what I call it. So I've pretty much used up all the paper I can think of. I'm like, oh, that'll work. And I love this technique because you can be super messy with it. And it looks so pretty when you're done, and it looks like it's really finished. Okay, so now let's start to assemble the card. So this one's going to go on the bottom, and the other one's going to go on the top. I'm just going to use some arc glitter glue. Normally I would use my tape runner, but for the sake of YouTube, tape runner is big and ugly, and it takes up the entire screen, so I'm doing arc glitter glue. I'm just going to put this down on the bottom. This is going to be the bottom of the card, and I'm noticing that my card front is a little bit big, so I will trim that off at the end in just a moment. So I'm going to measure that up like so. Or, no, it's not too big. I'm wrong. It's supposed to go, it's supposed to give a little bit of an edge. Sorry. I came up with this demo a few weeks ago. That's what I get. Okay, so this one is flush with the line. And this one goes like so. So there's a little bit of a, you can see a little bit of that card base around the edges for a nice mat. Then we're going to take some washi tape and just run it around the card. I'm using musical instrument washi tape. You could use any kind of washi tape that you want, or a ribbon would be cute as well. And what I like to do is I like to flip the card over and just run it through the back as well. I think it's really cute when the person opens it and can see that follow through on the card. That's just, I think it's kind of cute. So that's just my thing. Now we are going to mat our ATC. So I took some correlated black paper. Not correlated. It has ridges in it. I can't think of the word. And this is going to be what's going to mat my ATC. It's going to give some interest and some dimension and some texture. So it's lots of fun. And I'm just going to put that down like so. And then we're going to go ahead and pop this on, but we're not done yet. I want to add one more element. You could be done, actually a couple more things to it. This is cute. Like, you could be done at this. This is totally cool. I would enjoy getting this in the mail from somebody. But I don't know if you guys have in your stash the little paper ribbons that were real popular that you punched out. They came in a package and you punched them out to make bows, paper bows. But I thought that that would be really cute on the top of this up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this together and put it on the top. And this is why I used that that picked raspberry, is because I knew I was going to be using this pink. So you just kind of line it up like so. So everything in this card, you guys, I'm using literally from my stash. I didn't go out and buy anything. So just keep that in mind, be creative, do it, do what feels right, what you what you like, you know, use your stash. It's such a shame that we don't use our stash enough. I'm all for that. And if you like the stamp set, I do have links provided down below. It's ink red stamps. You know, you can purchase that and then use what you have on hand to do the rest of it. I think a lot of times as crafters, we try to reinvent the wheel. And we have to have the latest and greatest, and we forget about all the cool stuff that's already in our stash. All right, so this is going to go here. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this with this little piece of paper to make it look like a complete bow. And it also adds a little bit more security to the bow. You can put it on over the top, like just wrap around the center, but usually that's what I do. All right, and then I'm going to pop that right here, right on the top. And we'll come back and fluff it up in just a minute. You can basically just take and just squeeze the edges like so. So see, now it's really starting to come together. Super cute, super cute. And then we're gonna finish it off with some of these rubber bubbles that are in my stash. You could use gems, you could use dewdrops, you could use pretty much anything you want. And so we're gonna do, I'm going to do 5 down here in the corner. Oh, the reason why they were on clearance is because the backings have gotten a little bit. You got to kind of smoosh those backings back down there. We'll move on to a different one. 1, 2. Get over, get over. There we go. Just this 3. And then, for the sake of time, we'll just do 2 over here. And then I'll show you my other sample that I made originally, because I always make a sample before I come on and do anything. Because I want to make sure that it all makes sense and it all works. That's kind of important to me. So, there we go. All right, so here is a cute little card, and this is how you can turn an ATC into a card. So if you have an ATC collection that you think is a waste, pop them on some card friends and give them out. If you are in Arizona, in the Valley area, East Valley actually, I'm not East Valley, but I'm going to make it work. Scrapbook.com, main office is in Chandler, and they have a drop-off card, handmade cards that they're sending out to charities. And they need like thank you cards, happy birthday cards, just a note, and general sentiment. They don't want Halloween or Thanksgiving or any of the holiday cards. They're not taking those. But if you're in the Valley, they are taking drop off. You can't mail it though, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to probably be doing a lot of donating some of my cards that I've made. So if you're a card maker and have a lot of them and want to give it to a good cause, you can check that out. So with that being said, there's this one that I made, and this one was my sample. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you tonight. I certainly hope that you enjoyed this. Next week is the last week in our pop culture, and then we're going to move on to some other things. Sorry for my cranky, nasty cold. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I certainly hope you consider subscribing if you haven't done so as well. Until next time, happy crafting!